In this video we're going to talk about service registry and service discovery, and we're going to be using Eureka dependencies for this, which is Eureka is a open source library provided by Netflix. What we're going to do is going to function as a phone book registry where we're going to have a list of all our microservices, and we're gonna have all the information about them, like ports and URLs and things like that. To do this, we're gonna go to the start.spring.io initializer to create our Maven project. We're gonna call this Eureka server, and we're going to import. You can import all the dependencies here. We're gonna use this Eureka server. We're going to generate and download them. Once you download this, you can extract this over here before we can import this. We're clicking import to find it on your computer. And as you can see, it's start downloading and building the project here. It's going to be all the structure of your project, and it's gonna have a few files like this, for example, which this defines this is a Spring Boot application. But for this example, where we're going to create a Eureka server, we're going to need to add another annotation like this: enable Eureka server, like this. We need to click here and import this, and by default Eureka server is going to try to register itself as a service, and we don't want that to happen. So we go here to application.properties, and we can set server.port 8761, which is the default port for Eureka server. And also we're going to type Eureka client register with Eureka equal false. This is going to avoid that this server registers itself as a service or as a microservice. And also by default, Eureka is going to try to connect itself. This server is going to try to connect to another server, and that happens when we are on production. But since we're not in production, we're working locally in our computer, we're going to do this: Eureka client that registry this is gonna be fetch registry equal false. Also with these two lines we're ready to go. So we save and we run this application, and that's gonna be running, as I told you, in port 8761. You can see it over here, and you can try it here like localhost 8761, and this is how you can see it's working. And this is the interface, and we're gonna be listing all our microservices here, so we don't have to remember the name of them, or we don't have to memorize all the ports numbers and things like that. So first of all, we created this server. Now we're going to create a client. So we're gonna click here, we're gonna start refreshing this, we're gonna say Eureka client like this. We're gonna import the web dependencies, and we're going to import Eureka server, Eureka discoveries. We're gonna generate a project now and download this as we did before, and we're going to extract it again here. Now we're gonna import this over here again. Like this. Gonna close this so we don't miss. And now we need to do almost the same we did before, but for this we're gonna say it is this client. We do this by doing enable discovery client. Okay, so we import this, and now we need to create, for example, a class. Let's create a class called I'm gonna call it greeting, which is a class that's gonna be like this, and we're going to this is going to be a RESTful controller, a REST controller like this. And to test it, we need to create an endpoint which is going to need this request mapping, which is going to be let's say hello. Okay, so we're going to create a method for this. For a service, for example, now this is going to return a string. I did import this. Let's say it's returning. It returns a microservice 1, for example. And now we are ready to go. Well, almost. We're gonna click here and we're gonna say spring that application, the name, or we're gonna give it a name. Let's say service client, like this. And also we're going to add this is a report. After doing that, we saved, and we're going to rename this because it needs to be renamed like bootstrap that properties. I'm going to stop all of them. I'm going to run the server first of all, and after it's running, I'm gonna be able to run the Eureka client. So I'm gonna wait for it to run. I'm going to run this one now. This is the service client, which the name of the application, we gave it here application name, service client, and we have the name and the port that we assigned it. This way we're gonna have all of the microservices registered here by themselves, and after that we're going to be able to assign this port automatically. So this is the demonstration of this Eureka service registry and Eureka service discovery. We have both of them running. This is the service, this client is registering itself to this kind of phone book that I told you. You can also test your endpoint like this. You go to localhost. As we know, this is on port 8080. You can write it over here, and if you remember, we have this request mapping, which is hello. We're gonna do it over here, hello. And you see the message we created for this.